brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I am Pastor John McClain here with... We ready for this? I gotta take a deep breath when I do this. The superintendent of Tucson International Academy, a former Tucson Unified School District educator, the author of the book Making College Come True, 10 Keys to Success, and the newest radio talk show host in the city of Tucson, Making College Come True radio show. She goes by the name Dr. Jennifer Herrera.
Yay!
Or also Dr. J, they know her as. Dr. J in the house.
Dr.
Hello.
J, hello. Yes, sir, I sure am.
Let's get this party started.
Yep.
It's another exciting day, man. And like usual, you packed the studio full of some awesome people.
Of course.
I'm feeling the good energy. I'm ready for this. And
we got the best.
And I got a trainer right next to me, so I'm thinking maybe do some push-ups during the break.
Yep,
what are we thinking? A push-up contest during the break? What are we thinking?
Push-ups. Sit-ups,
just don't quit.
Yeah, that's it.
So
You're gonna sweat.
Nice, I'm ready. And that amazing voice you hear, that's Patricia Gonzales. She is with the top-notch group, Top Physique Personal Training.
Thank you.
So definitely we're going to be hearing all about the awesome work that she does. Certainly if you want to get your physique top-notch, call 520-591-550. Again, that's 520-591-550, right? Just like that. That's how I can do it. I just pull out commercials on top of my head.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, also. And then we also
hire you.
Yeah. And then we also have BeeBee on the show with us. I want to think of Making College Come True radio show favorites, because he brings the energy, he brings the knowledge. Like I feel like he's like an arm of probably what you already do, and now he's an arm of what we do.
Yep, pretty much.
Thank you, Mr. BeeBee, for what you do.
Fantastic being here and sharing.
Awesome.
With you lovely people, especially when you bring in beautiful guests like this.
Yeah. Well, that's enough about me. That's enough about me. Oh, wait, sorry.
Yes, John is very...
So awesome. So we have a great show for you guys today. Definitely, I would sit in there and enjoy. And let's get the party started with speaking with Patricia Gonzales of Top Physique Personal Training. Yeah.
Well, Patricia happens to be actually my trainer.
Nice.
She's got her work cut out for her with me.
I want to think she has her work cut out with everybody. I envision being a trainer is not an easy job.
No, it's not.
And she is up for the task, believe me.
Nice.
And so it's exciting to have her here today. And of course, as I've been training with her, we get a little bit piece by piece more of people's personal story. And I love her personal story. She has her own business, Top Physique, and she has competition, people that she gets ready for competition, and then she works with people that are more beginning, like myself. She also has she is an alumni, like myself, of University of Arizona.
Nice.
Go out
bear down.
And she's actually from Tucson. So she brings a lot to the table and a lot to this conversation for Making College Come True here in Tucson, Arizona. So Patricia, tell us about your organization. Tell us about things that that this show would like to hear about.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. I appreciate it. So I started my business 10 years ago. We've been in business for 10 years. It's Top Physique Personal Training, and we are a private personal training studio where we train people one-on-one. So I feel like I'm a little bit of an introvert, so I feel like I can get through to people one-on-one instead of group training. So it's a little bit different. We train one person per hour. So a lot of other businesses are like, how do you do that? But we are very busy. We're open 7 days a week, and we transform physique. So that's pretty much what I do. Somebody comes in and I'm interested in transforming their physique, but not just their physique, but their mind, body, spirit. Everything seems to change when you get into shape and you feel good about yourself. You feel good about waking up in the morning. So that's
all connected. That's for sure.
It really is. So that's what I do. I have the best job. It is very challenging though, because I'm trying to change people's habits, and that's really difficult sometimes.
They don't like to change.
No, but a lot of my clients are making strides and they're doing great, and so I'm really excited to work with everyone. We probably have about 70 clients per week. So we're very busy.
And
Yeah.
what would you say inspired you to get into training in the first place?
So I went to Las Vegas. There's the largest bodybuilding show in the whole world, right? So I was up close and I was seeing these physiques. I was in the audience and I just got inspired. So I came home. And I was going through a tough time. My niece was killed. So
sorry to
I was
hear
going
that.
through a really tough time and with depression. And so I feel like this really helped me. It was good timing. So I hired a trainer. I started competing and I stopped drinking alcohol. So that was something that I was hiding from my grief. But I think that's what really inspired me. And she still does, my niece Serena. So I feel like this has really helped me with my depression and I'm able to function. So I know that's a heavy story, but it's
No, that's great. I mean, and thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's amazing. I know we talk about it a lot on this show, kind of what inspires us to do amazing things. And I want to think in a lot of situations, it's grief. It's grief that kind of brings us out of it. But I think you'll probably talk about that a lot today. It's when you have these type of things happen, you either pick yourself up and you make amazing things happen, or you live in it. You live in that wallow and horrible things happen.
Right. And I think depression is something, that people have and they don't want to talk about it. But I was able to overcome that through working out, correcting my diet. I stopped drinking and, drink more water, basic things to do, right? So that really helped me to feel better about getting up. So then, I started competing and then people started just stopping me and asking me if I would train them in stores and just random places. So I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I mean, I was born probably like that. I've been selling things since I was 10. And so when I left home I'm from California originally, but we moved back to Clifton, Morenci, Arizona. So I graduated from a very small town, and then I wanted to go to college, and but I've been selling things so I could buy clothes and things like that. So I've always been very resourceful. And I think that I want the listeners to know that I think it's very important that you figure out your problems on your own instead of asking mom for help or asking dad for help. Because I feel like my success comes from all those events that I had to figure things out on my own, from leaving at 17 and then I never asked anyone for help. So I built 2 businesses since then, and this business is only getting bigger. So I feel like the problem solving has really helped me to just be resourceful. I found ways to pay for my college. I found business or employment that they would pay 75% of my tuition, and so it took me 8 years to finish my degree. So there's a lot of hard work, and people see me now and they think, oh, she's had it easy her whole life. But that's quite the contrary.
That's right. Yeah, you cannot assume when you see success, there is always a price tag behind it. People want to say, oh, your parents just gave you all that. Rarely is that the case. It's usually a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of drive, a lot of motivation, digging deep.
Yeah. And we will be right back after this break with Patricia Gonzales with Top Physique Personal Training. This is the Making College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. We're back.
Yeah.
I'm Pastor John McClain here with the one and only Dr. J in the house.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we have ourselves Mrs. Patricia Gonzales here in studio with us with Top Physique Personal Training over there in the corner. Even though nobody puts baby in the corner, we have Brian BeeBee with
right.
your guidance office. We will be talking to him shortly, but let's go ahead and speak back to the lady of the hour, Mrs. Patricia Gonzales with Top Physique Personal Training. And I think you got something on your mind you want to ask her, huh, Dr. J?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, here we see someone who has built this business locally that has just grown and grown, has potential galore, even through COVID. She discovered online. There's so many ways to grow the business. So huge success, huge contribution to the community. Like people like myself, I'm able to work out and be pushed to the max without hurting myself. For me, it's like I always hurt myself because I'm like, well, I can do that. I can. And then it's like, oh, I can't walk now. So.
Well, you're incredibly strong. She is.
Thanks to her. Yeah, I have found another gift. But it's one of those things where it's a chance to do something you cannot do without the support of a professional. And I know that there's a special training that you do and all, and you could have opened this business without a college degree. However, you chose to get a college degree. Can you talk to us about that? And what our listeners might be interested in is why. I mean, you don't need a college degree to start a business, but did you find value in your degree from University of Arizona? If you did, what was that value, and what would you say to people thinking of starting their own business?
So I'm from a small town, and nobody graduates from high school or graduates and goes to college, right? They just stay there, have kids. And so I just wanted something different. My Theo Rick sat me down and talked to me, and he said, you need to go to college. That's going to open up more doors for you. And he's from California, and so he's a professor, and he really he was pivotal in my going to college. And so I decided to go, but I didn't have any help. So I went to Eastern Arizona Junior College, and then I went to Pima College. And I think I wanted to be first generation, as far as out of my sisters and out of my family, I'm the only one that graduated from college. And that was a very big deal for me.
Heck yeah.
But I did get that, people going, oh, you're not going to finish. Like, who do you think you are? And, there's a lot of negativity as I was going along. So I was a single parent going to school, working full-time, going to school full-time. And so that was, I don't think of it being hard, but it was. I didn't have any help from her dad. And so, I think you just have to put yourself in really tough positions to become stronger. And I feel like that's what happened in my life. And finishing college helped me with discipline. I'm not using it right now per se. It's my degree's in psychology and criminal justice. Maybe I use it indirectly. Yeah.
You're like, get over here, criminal, do some push-ups.
Exactly, right?
10 right now.
I need 10 right now. And so I feel like college provided me with discipline, because you cannot come out of college without being disciplined. You have to, be able to finish your classes, and you have to be able to, finish the whole curriculum. That's 4 years of a lot of studying. And, so I felt like, that helped me in all areas of my life. So if you go to college, you're going to come out disciplined. I just feel like you will. So that has helped me I don't have a boss at work, right? I'm an entrepreneur. So I have to wake up every morning and be self-motivated. How do you stay self-motivated for 10 years? Right. So I think that the foundation came from me going to college for all those years and working full time and raising my daughter, and she's successful. And so, I think that, a lot of single parents will say, I'm not doing that. That's too hard. But I don't believe it is. So
it's doable, right?
It's doable.
And the lessons that you learned in life from that experience are huge. And you were able to take your time. I mean, not that you're wanting to expand being in college. I mean, my husband jokes with me and says, that ever since the first 20 years we were married, I was in college, because I did a PhD. But it's one of those things where life does happen, and you are able to still enjoy life and be a good parent and start your own business and work full time and whatever it is you need to do when you focus and you decide what you want to do, and you make your plan, and then you work your plan. That's from Mary Kay, right?
Yes.
Our Mary Kay days.
Yes. Our Mary Kay days. Yeah. That was the other business. I was a pink Cadillac director, so I built my business within 6 months. I was making a 6-figure income. And I'm not bragging about that, but that's very hard to do because it's 100% commission. So you just have to be you have to care about people. And I think that's one of my gifts, is I really want to see people succeed, even more than me. So I will teach them how to do that so that they will never have to maybe suffer.
Right.
So I think it's important to learn how how to be self-sufficient. And I think that's really important for women and for men.
Yeah.
So
giving that gift to other people of like the ability to overcome, the ability to face challenges and to still just work through them. I mean, that's huge. And I know that's a big part of what you do because I go to your gym. And I love it there. And every time I go there, it's like being around really positive. There's men and women, but when I'm working out, it's mostly women that are there. And I get such a kick out of that. It's just so much fun.
it is.
And everyone's got their challenges. You know, sometimes I'm limping when I go. Or
Right.
you guys say, what'd you do?
Right.
And it's just empowering because I'm still going to go to work the next day. I'm still going to do the bazillion things I do, and I'm going to enjoy life. And I have support. I have support with good health, and I have support with people in my life that are going to tell me things that I should be doing so that I will do them and stay on track.
Yes,
And
we keep you accountable, Jennifer.
yes, you do. You do.
Nice.
I love that. And when you go to her gym, everyone, you're going to see a bunch of trophies that she herself has earned in bodybuilding contests, and also a whole wall full of pictures of people, their befores and afters of getting ready for competition. And I have two trainers. I have Patricia and I have another trainer, and the other trainer just competed for the first time, and
Candace.
she did outstanding. And watching her body transform, and then having her as a coach at the same time training me was very eye-opening. And it just humbles you, and you see the payoff, and it was huge for her.
It was huge for her. Yeah. And it was a blessing for me to be able to coach her. And she actually did it, because it's so hard.
It's
you
real hard.
can't drink alcohol, you can't cheat, you have to be on a very strict diet. The workouts are hard. I mean, you're suffering the whole 12 weeks, right? I don't know why people want to do it, but
I don't either. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like right now, like if I work out 4 times a week, I go to the Y, I'm lucky, and I suffer and I cry after every single time, but I couldn't imagine working any harder than that.
Oh,
so,
you
yeah.
got to go visit John. That's
No,
Yeah.
what?
She does men
I gotta
as
go.
well.
Sorry.
It'll be eye-opening, John.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
So we do train men and women too. So, we train beginner, intermediate, advanced. So I want to emphasize that. Most of my clients are not competitors. They're not athletes. They're mostly beginner people who just women who want to, or men, they want to learn the equipment and how
My
to use
fear
it.
is I start messing around with you, and I'd want to be like get into a competition.
I would
So
love
no,
to
I can't.
coach
do
you
it.
there.
No, don't talk like that.
You should do
Yeah,
that.
anyways, yeah, that's why we gotta go now. So
Yeah.
thank you, Patricia Gonzales, for coming on the show. This is Top Physique Personal Training. Those who are
Yes.
interested, give her a call, 520-591-5500. If you guys want, you can watch the video. It'll be available on Monday on kvoi.com. You can see what a top physique looks like.
I appreciate that.
We
That's
have
right.
Mrs. Patricia Gonzales here with us. And again, call 520-591-5500 if you want to get your physique top. This is the
Thank
Making
you.
College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. Mr. John McClain here with still Dr. J in the house.
That's right.
Yeah. And this time we did a little switcheroo. We moved baby out of the corner and we put the
Into
lady
the
in the corner.
And that's
so that's how
that's
it
okay.
Yeah, that's all right. She's just sitting there watching, observing, judging. I see you.
Yes.
And we have right here in the front mic and taking the swings. We got Brian BeeBee. Those who are keeping score at home, that is 3 B's. No, but actually, I guess technically it's only 2 B's. What's your middle name?
Lloyd.
So BLB.
Yes.
That's not as
I don't know. I
catchy.
do the 3B thing. So when I go to the Better Business Bureau events, back when we had them, I always take a picture with the 3Bs.
Yeah.
Or Beyond Bread. I've done Beyond Bread also.
There you go.
Perfect. That's
Very
beautiful. and as well as having an excellent sense of humor, this is a man of many talents. We're going to talk about a lot of the different organizations you work with today. Last time we had him on the show, which was I think just last week, right?
Yeah.
We were primarily talking about your guidance office and kind of how it is, in a lot of ways, an arm of what Dr. J does with Tucson International Academy and, now with this Making College Come True radio show. But you were also telling me a lot about this upcoming project you're starting soon where you're helping connect consumers to local businesses and crank up our economy through networking and social media. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of a volunteer addict.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm really, I'm concerned about Tucson's economy. I'm concerned about the hit that we've taken because we were already having to be very locally minded.
Mm-hmm.
Like Local First Arizona is a great organization in town that I've been involved with in the past. But and I've been a networker for 20 years. And so Tucson people like relationships, but we also need that social media aspect of it, and we need the reach. How do we meet people, especially right now? And so I learned about this community initiative of people supporting people. It's businesses supporting each other. It's the community coming in and supporting those businesses and having a platform to do that and do it in a very efficient way. So it's a networking organization. Their meetings are half an hour. They have a huge social media component where we support each other, we use each other's businesses, we give reviews, but we also invite the community in. So it's not just businesses, it's not just the community, it's the combination. So it's Tucson helping Tucson. And it's
great.
starting up next month.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. Excellent. How do people get involved with that?
My training is on Tuesday.
And you'll know.
It is an existing organization, and so I'm
Awesome.
working with a wonderful lady out of Phoenix. It's Deluxe Network Program, and they do have a web page. Tucson will have its own presence on that. It's not built yet, but if they're interested, they did want to reach out to me. They can reach out through your guidance office is fine. Brian at yourguidanceoffice.com. I know that's long, and look up how to spell guidance. I get a lot of typos on
Or
that.
Brian. Brian's with an I, not with a Y.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
Brian with
you're
an I.
welcome.
That's right. Brian with an I.
Yeah, I made that
Yeah,
mistake
right
the
on.
other day when I was putting together stuff. I kept spelling it with a Y, and I had to go look it up just because I'm a John without an H. So I know how
Yes.
annoying it is.
Yeah.
But I read somewhere that the I, one of them Scottish and one of them is English or
Interesting.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have two F's. Sometimes people put two F's for Jennifer. It's like, nope, two N's. Oh, two N's.
Well,
Yeah, interesting.
People didn't call me Brian all through high school. They just called me BeeBee by my last name. And
I
then in
bet.
the police academy, they always joked about my BB gun.
Yeah.
BeeBee gun.
I'm sure you got that. Almost
BB
today,
gun.
huh?
BB
Yeah,
gun.
yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Like police officers, much like in the military, real low base. Like the low hanging fruit of jokes, they take them all day.
Your
Yeah.
skin gets very thick.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, what would you say is like your goal? Or, what are you hoping to accomplish with this organization?
It's just rebuilding. It's both the support that used to be there when we were all together, but it's rebuilding that. I mean, my 3D photography comes into play with that. I'm doing some projects for that to try and get some businesses, connected, because I can connect them to Google Streets so people can find them. And so there's a whole lot of what I do that overlaps. With the college planning side, there's financial components to it. So it's really about helping Tucson families holistically. I know that word's overused, but in everything from their budget to make sure they can pay for college to their kid really being successful and maximizing their outcome, to the stuff I do with businesses and networking, supporting, and bringing the community into it. And I'm sure you'll enjoy. There's Tucson Community Cares Foundation.
Nice.
There's another nonprofit that I really support that supports the families on DM and connects Tucson to them. So we're a big community.
Yeah, we are.
And, we have resources in each other that are so incredibly valuable. I mean, my mantra, if you've known me very long, a lot of people will pray for blessings. I pray to be the blessing.
Yeah.
I get my
There you
greatest
go.
joy out of that. And so I say that all the time, be the blessing. Don't wait for somebody else to do
That's
it.
a good mantra to have.
That's
Man,
right.
yeah. For me, it was like, I don't know how long ago, maybe let's say 10 years for fun. I started to say that every conversation that I had, I want there to be growth from that conversation. So I didn't want to just talk about sports, talk about the weather. Every time I talk to you, I want to make sure that we grow in some capacity. So that be the blessing thing, that's like, I want to think that tops that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really great.
Well, growth is a blessing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
Whether
so
it's-
in a lot,
or
maybe
even-
a different
Or
ways
even a
of looking at it.
friendship, it's support. Like we were talking about depression and how we deal with that. We hide it from people. If you're able to be one of those people that can bring out those stories
Right.
as easily as she told it today, I'm sure it wasn't that way, years ago.
Right.
And so that's the thing. I want to leave a positive mark on everybody that I talk to, and I want to impact as many as possible. This radio show is a blessing because hopefully, maybe through some of the college tips or through some of the business things I talk about, somebody grows.
Yeah, and somebody makes it happen.
Yeah.
It's a journey, and part of the journey is networking. So I mean, that's something I know I learned in college was networking, like just through a number of ways, but one of the ways was through sorority and fraternity, and it was just something that everyone else was doing, so I did it. And you had to meet these people, and you had like 5 minutes with each person at the sorority, and then you moved on to a different sorority, and you had 5 minutes. And I mean, it's a lot of talking in a very short amount of time, and then we're trying to remember names and trying to remember who you kind of hit it off with or not. And boy, did I learn about networking through that. And
I talk to my students a lot about how to do that through college, through internships.
So important. I mean, that's how you get clients, right? With Mary Kay, with Top Physique, with all the digital. I mean, all of the things you're doing, and everything that John does. John is like a very big member of the community, doing a lot of things.
Thank you. You're so good to me. I am Pastor John McClain here with. Well, I want to say one of my favorite people, because it'd be unfair to say my favorite person.
Although I am, but
yeah, you're up there.
Some things should remain a secret.
Don't tell my kids, but you may be my favorite person, Dr. J. You're definitely my favorite doctor, hands down.
There we go. I like that.
Down. So we're here to entertain you, and we got a very entertaining guy in studio with us named Mr. Brian BeeBee. It's fun to say. Go ahead, say it. Take a second.
Brian BeeBee.
And then we also got in the corner, just hanging out, being cool as can be, Patricia Gonzales with Top Physique Personal Training. Go to kvoi.com on Monday. You get to see all of our top physiques on the video.
Thank you.
I better suck it in.
It'll be fine.
So, Mr. BeeBee, before we went into the break, you foreshadowed 3D photography and what you're doing with that. Tell us. We didn't get a chance to. We talked about it a lot behind scenes last show. We didn't talk about it on air. Tell us about it.
It was something a friend actually. We have a lot in common in interests in tech, and both are involved in real estate. And so he had purchased the 3D camera and all that, and it was really more of a side thing. And then when COVID hit, and the first case of a realtor exposing people at a home site, suddenly there was a lot of buzz about it, and everybody realized the value of these 3D virtual tours. And so those just exploded on the residential side. And as I perfected my art with that, I don't like staying in the box. I think we've noticed. I started thinking.
I was thinking during this interview, you're going to create a new business.
Probably, right?
But businesses, I mean, think about the people sitting at home who want to go to a restaurant, but they're still scared. They want to know what it feels like. And if you can have an immersive experience of visiting that restaurant, seeing their protocols, seeing that the kitchen's clean, and just feeling like you're there, it's going to be a lot less stressful when you walk through the door. And there's ways to connect it through Google and give you better Google credit, if you want to call it that, to make you show up more. And you can literally, on that Google Street app, you can click into that business and walk around. And it's huge, and it's really connecting.
That Google credit thing you're talking about, I think it's called SEO ranking.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I was just sticking in my head.
Well, it actually is more. It's more than search engine now, because about a third of those searches are now happening inside like maps when it comes to businesses.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they still call that SEO or not.
I don't know. Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, it's really amazing.
Well, I was talking about I have a thing coming up where I have to meet with people at midnight. That is my group of Indigenous Aborigines I'm training in Australia, because that'll be 5 in for them. They'll be on happy hour, and it's an opening of one of their art centers. And so wonderful. I've run into these really crazy fun things.
That's really great.
And it's amazing because it's like you were saying before, like it just ties into the other stuff. You know, with the networking, it ties into that. So people that need that want or need that service, like they have it available to them, which I mean, a lot of people probably until they even hear this show never even knew that this was an option.
Right.
Even though there's all kinds of museums and organizations that need these type of things.
I'm working on a project with WOSAC, and I can't tell you what it stands for, but it's they're in charge of the Women's Plaza of Honor at the U of A. And I think you saw a little bit of that one.
Yeah,
it's a great project.
Super
They're trying to
nice.
do a bench dedicated to Justice Ginsburg, and you know it's an honor just to be part and helping all these people, and it's so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like your guidance office. People don't know there are private people that can come in and help above and beyond what their school is equipped to do.
Yeah.
And so networking is a huge part of my business is.
Yeah. And I must say, I mean, that thing you showed me, or I guess it was
Arlene was showing.
me, it was absolutely gorgeous. It was just absolutely gorgeous. It's almost as if like it's like you have future technology or something like
Yeah,
the
she
aliens
thought you were going to
delivered it
try
you.
and climb into her phone. She
That
was
was amazing. I know. I wasn't sure what was going on, but that's awesome. But you again foreshadowed. So let's jump over to it. Your guidance office.
Yes.
Your guidance office. So, tell us about it. You know what you guys do.
It's actually a legacy business. It's my late wife and I started that. We're coming up on 12 years. I guess I'm coming up on 12 years. And it happened by accident, but I got totally immersed into it. And I saw the impact, once again, something that's important to me, that I can have on these families and these kids in the future. And they don't know what they don't know. And there are things that if you approach this properly, if you think about it the right way, if you don't think of college as an ivory tower on a hill,
Right.
am I worthy of being there? And you realize they're a business, and you approach it with that business mindset. And while you're having growth, while you're getting good grades, while you're treating your teachers and your directors and principals properly, you know, when you're learning all the discipline that we talked about earlier, the life skills come along with it.
Yes.
And so it's neat to watch these kids grow, because those teen years, there's a lot of growth. And I'm still Facebook friends with one of my first students. I got to see her get married. I got to see her have her baby and be successful with her degree. And it's just incredibly rewarding. And it's something that I read about constantly. You know, I have to stay up on, because I have to be the person with that information. And I do the same thing actually with the 3D photography. That's how I start my day, is reading articles.
Yep.
But there's just so much that these kids can achieve if they just know how to get there.
Right.
And so I titled myself a coach, because that's the relationship I have with these kids and these families. Plus, I'm very informal, and coaches can get away with stuff. So.
Yeah, nice. Okay,
That's right.
so what would you say is like the best advice you can give to a person entering high school that wants to have like their pick of the litter when it comes to colleges?
The number one thing
Do you think that's a good question, Dr. J?
I'm really good.
is truly embracing that what you do right now will affect you 5 years from now, 10 years from now. When you're like, do I really want to take that class? Or do I really, I'd rather go to the mall with my girlfriend than work on this project because it's good enough. When you realize that decision at that moment is going to affect you. And at that age, it's you don't think that way.
Right.
You know, you're thinking, I'm hungry. Is there more ramen? You know,
Yeah.
you're not thinking of down the road. And so a lot of times if you start with that, but if you ask a kid, a lot of them will say, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. Great, let's work backwards. How do we get there? And once you get to today in that timeline, it suddenly has way more meaning because it'll affect tomorrow, and tomorrow will affect next week, and next week will affect next year. Next year will affect 10 years from now.
Man, I wish we would have had this talk last week, because my 14-year-old son, I was talking with him this past week, and he was like, man, Dad, I want to be X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, yeah? I was like, well, it starts today. You're 14 years old. Like, it starts now. Like, if you want to get in college, if you want to be a professional something, if you want to do that, it starts now. But I wish I would have had the stuff you're giving me, like, the choices you make today will affect next week. The choices you make this week will affect next month. I mean, it's just, It's right on point. It's
Well,
absolutely
and
Right
you know,
on.
every for some reason, like 90% of little girls or young women at some point in their life want to be a veterinarian or a marine biologist, and the boys want to be a game designer or a YouTuber.
Oh yeah, every single one of my children want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't even know what it is.
And so that's part of discovery. So whatever it
yeah.
is they do settle in on is let's learn about it. Let's talk to people that do it. Let's find out what it looks like. There was a Discovery Channel project. It's a 10-year project where young people interviewed professionals from skateboarders to CEOs, and it is available on YouTube. I'm blanking out on the name of it, but it was by the Discovery Channel. I have it integrated into some software I use. It's amazing when adults get out of the way and these kids start discovering, but they do need to know where and how to do it. And so let's look up what a game designer does. How much money do they make? Would a degree be helpful? What kind of programming is it? You know, what is that even a job that's going to be around 10 years from now? I mean, there's a whole lot of things that's part of that discovery.
Right.
And it takes time. But once these kids, when you see them dive into it and they start learning, like one of the most common ones I get is, I want to be a lawyer. Well, why do you want to be a lawyer? Because I want to be rich and I'm good at arguing.
Oh gosh.
It doesn't quite work that way.
Not quite the skill set you would think you would need. Yeah.
And so if they go and they spend a week in a lawyer's office, most of the time they change their mind. Like, people are mean, they're cranky, and that's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's really understanding, not just having a goal, but understanding what that goal actually is, and work your way backwards, and then set up your plan and stick to it.
Awesome.
I meet with my juniors and seniors a minimum once a month. I meet with my freshmen and sophomore at least every other month, or whenever they need me. But it's having that accountability partner for them, because every month we have that meeting, and they said they were going to accomplish something. Suddenly it has a little more meaning.
Right.
And my biggest advantage is I'm not mom or dad.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah.
It really helps because they don't want to hear the same thing from their mom and dad. They want to have a neutral person, even though we may see the same thing in them. Yeah, we do a lot of the same thing, but ours is for students that are physically with us every day. And you are offering that similar service to anyone. And I really like that. I think it's so needed.
You know,
We wanted to help more people, but we just don't have time.
One of the ways I describe it is you have a general practitioner for your general health, and then you have a specialist
Yep.
for something. I'm the specialist in the college planning.
Yes.
Awesome.
You know,
Well, thank you so much, Mr. BeeBee, for coming on with us one more again. And those who want to get a hold of your guidance office, you can get a hold of Mr. BeeBee at 520-261-4142 or Brian with an I at yourguidanceoffice.com.
All right.